The thing that we like to say when it comes to the gay thing. There's this thing that we like to say. What's that thing? I don't care what you do in your bedroom. Live your life. Just don't bring it to me. That's the thing that we like to say. Well, that line is being breached. Just keep it away from me. That border, that boundary is being breached in every way, including the food. Including the food, yes. Much of the attacks on the meat and farming and things like that is also part of the gay thing. Laboratory made DNA hormone altering stuff that they're designing the food to end up being. You saw all those dead cows a few weeks ago. Thousands of them dead overnight. Dead. Yes, it's being breached in every way. Religion, education, gender, education, I already said education, entertainment, and just about everything else. Business, yeah, that too. The just keep it away from me thing is about to be over with if we don't unfuck ourselves real quick.
To Inquiry, the series where we take a mini deep dive into the history of LGBTQ plus vocabulary. So, how much do you really know about the history and the word agender? Find out in this episode of Inquiry. Before I tell you more about that, a quick refresher on the basic rules of gender using dessert. Gender is like ice cream. There are many, many flavors. You can mix and match, or you can decide not to have any if it's not for you.
Macy Gray receives a problem about that I just showed you. That was a woman I just showed you. How? Well, as a man thinketh, then so shall it be. That's how. Macy Gray receives a problem for daring to know better. But that's where it is, though. We are aware what is a male or what is a female needs to be figured out. It's if we didn't already know. But this is what happens when we just sit back and watch activists who won't just settle for the propaganda aspect of warfare. No. These people want a lot more than that, and they have actually started moving the furniture around in the house. They didn't want to just settle for just talking to control the minds and perceptions. No, they wanted bodies too. Now, in the description box, I'll have 2 videos, and they are responses that Timothy Blaine had to Macy Gray saying that 2 plus 2 don't equal 5. And he was really angry, so I'm going to title that one Feelings. The other that I'm going to sample from, I'll title that one The Cleanup, because he tried to do some cleaning, but his strong delusion prevented him from being honest. He tried, though. He tried, but sometimes delusions are a lot stronger than reality. And as a matter of fact, let me play you a bit from Feelings.
People, I came on here to talk about this woman, Macy Gray. Macy Gray, you appeared with this Piers Morgan. I don't know who is more prejudiced. Is it you or Piers Morgan for even asking you this asinine question? First of all, Macy Gray, we don't give a fuck about what you feel, girl. What makes you think that what you feel about somebody else's life is so goddamn important? You're a singer. Go on the stage, sing, and then take your ass home and do some more drugs. First, you were bitching about women's rights, women being treated equally, right? So you're all down for women being treated equally, right? But you don't have that same compassion for people who struggle so much more. Imagine not being neither male nor female and wandering through this world. Why is your goddamn opinion so important, girl, that you got to tell somebody, walk up to somebody and say, you're not a woman? So I'm not a woman. What the fuck is that? What do they got to do with anything, girl? That Piers Morgan, that motherfucker. Why in the fuck did you even ask such an asinine question? Right? But always find some bully spirited ass person. She on here bitching and moaning about equal rights and all this, and she don't want to salute the flag. The flag doesn't represent the black woman and all this shit, girl. And then at the same time, you want to bully somebody else and tell them that they are less than because they're not even what they propose to be. What the fuck difference does it make what they call themselves, girl? You don't know nothing about no goddamn experience as no motherfucking transgender woman. So why are you opening your goddamn mouth? Excuse me, Saints. I'm sorry. I know everybody got their opinion. Sometimes though, it really is. I mean, the ministry really is to just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. If you don't know anything about somebody else's experience, especially when you don't hear running your goddamn mouth about black rights and women's rights and everybody's rights, and you're going to change the flag and all this shit, girl, for you could help somebody by telling about your own experience. Tell us about washed up singers that go on to Piers Morgan's show to try to stir up some controversy to get their goddamn name on YouTube like any other street urchin girl is just clout chasing.
Oh, it got worse than that. But in a minute, I'm going to play you a bit from the cleaning up. The cleaning up was worse than the rant. Because as I like to say, after somebody does something that they had no business doing, the explanation is where the real fun starts. The cleanup is where the magic happens. The best part comes when watching somebody try to explain. Now let me recall some things he said. And all these things you will find within the first 20 minutes of his cleanup video. Well, why don't you just do what you usually do and just play for us what you want us to see instead of telling us? Well, no, I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to do that because I want you to think that I'm lying. That's what I want you to do. So you go on and take yourself on over there and hear it yourself. But he begins his cleanup video by mentioning how nearly all of the comments on his feelings video sided with Macy Gray. And I was one of those comments, by the way. But after previously going all the way in on Macy, he came in the cleanup video and said, no, Piers Morgan did it. He's responsible. He lured Macy to a trap. And he's a racist. And the title of the damage control / cleanup video is, The Real Enemy is Piers Morgan, not Macy Gray.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
He goes on into classifying the question Macy was asked as juvenile. Other words he used was infantile question, a stupid ass question. It's a kindergartner question. He essentially described the question as common sense that a male is a male and a female is a female. He said it's a waste of education to even bring it up. He went in on Matt Walsh for his What is a Woman documentary and said that Matt is hardly an intellect to even bring up what's common knowledge. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, with that. The problem is the ones that has made this an issue are not heterosexuals. It's the gay folks that don't stir up this hornet's nest. They're the ones trying to redefine everyone else's reality. Other people's borders are being breached. That's why it's becoming an issue. Then he said women shouldn't be offended at dudes because imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Or in other words, he's pretending that there's not any hatred or disdain for females coming from these dudes. His exact words were, I think it's complimentary to a woman that these people actually obsess with womanhood. Impersonating a woman is the highest form of flattery. Those were his exact words. Obsess and impersonate. His words, not mine. But he has a problem with Macy Gray saying that the sky is always located up there. Now let's hear a bit of the cleanup video, and this should blow your mind.
You done made it some big issue, like, oh, this has got to be resolved. This has got to be resolved. Then they went to the black, what was she, a senator or something? And they asked her, what is a woman? And she said, I'm not sure I can answer that, right? They took offense to that. Oh, these women don't even know what a woman is. They don't even know it. Girl, you're just trying to stir up some goddamn hatred. You're just trying to stir up some bullshit to promote your goddamn stupid ass documentary. Man, Wash. And that goddamn Piers Morgan, girl, I'm glad they did fire your ass. I'm glad they did fire. Hey, hi, Charles Dawson. Charles Dawson, I ain't seen you in a while. They're transgender. That's what they are. Honey, you're just transgender. They shouldn't have to hide it or try to pretend. I imagine a lot of people, I know a couple of transgender people that you would never know that they were transgender. One in my church, I had talked to that man regularly for something like 3 years, and I didn't know he was transgender, right? So some people, I guess their desire is just, I'm just a woman and that's it, right? But most transgender people recognize that I'm a transgender woman. That's who I am. I have value because this is who I am, right? We don't know how long this phenomenon has been around. We know we tried to bury it for centuries, right? But even when you go back to the Bible, they had the Ethiopian eunuch, and I believe the story of the Ethiopian eunuch in the Bible is about, what was it, Queen Candace or somebody? They would castrate these men so that the servants would be loyal to their wives. They could trust their wives with these eunuchs, right? But basically, a eunuch was a transgender person.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So, I take a knife and use it to force your dick off of your body so my wife don't cheat on me with you while I'm away, and you call that transgender? You call that transgender? Sometimes delusion overrules reality. You heard them say, now, I don't know if it was voluntary or not. You heard him slide that in there. But why did he just slide that in there? Well, it's because he knows that eunuchs were slaves, forcefully castrated. You don't know if they desired that or not. Yeah, I want you to cut my weenie off because I don't trust myself around your wife. See, sometimes right when we're trying to lie to somebody, the subconscious will speak even louder. Or overtalk the lie we're trying to tell. Sometimes the subconscious will catch us right in mid-lie. Sometimes that subconscious will tell the truth on us right after we just finished the lie. We keep talking and the person we're trying to lie to will be like, hey, but I thought you just said, but that's not what you just said, though. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
We don't know how long this phenomenon has been around. We know we tried to bury it for centuries, right? But even when you go back to the Bible, they had the Ethiopian eunuch, and I believe the story of the Ethiopian eunuch in the Bible is about, what was it, Queen Candace or somebody? They would castrate these men so that the servants would be loyal to their wives. They could trust their wives with these eunuchs, right? But basically, a eunuch was a transgender person. They had made them transgender. I don't know if the people had a desire to be that or whatever, but these were barbaric times that you're trying to emulate, right?
Barbaric. Subconscious speaking louder than words right there. Because why would the next word that came from his mouth be barbarism? Well, I tell you why. Because barbarism is the best way to describe how to make a eunuch out of somebody. It's a barbaric practice, likened to the despicable practice of sewing the female's vagina shut and cutting off the clitoris so the females wouldn't get sexually aroused and cheat on their men while their men are away.
If they are a biological woman, it's going to be that. I don't have qualms with that. I don't think Macy is transphobic. I just think that she felt how she felt. Now, when it comes to competing, I'm on the fence with that. And I'm going to be honest, I'm on the fence with that because when we start having leagues for transgender women and men, then it's just like, okay, we're separating. If I start seeing a lot of transgender male to female, winning all of these gold medals and college sports, then I might scratch my head and say, okay, something is not working. But only a few have won, and women are still breaking records. So
wait until the problem becomes a big problem, then that's when it will become a problem worth dealing with, is what that man just said. Yes, I see the fuse has been lit, but I'll wait until it blows up before I see that there's a problem. Yeah, I see a problem, but the problem hasn't gotten out of hand yet, so I'll wait till then. See, but my thing is, If winning is not a problem, then how could winning become a problem? If men beating women in sports is not a problem, then how could it be a problem if they start beating them more often? He said, I still see women winning medals. And that's like saying, yeah, it's okay for me to beat my bitch up as many times as I want to, as long as she gets some licks in back on me. His response to men destroying women in sports, ironically, is the same thing that the dude said when Steven Crowder was asking him questions. And more ironically than that, I didn't know Crowder did that 3 months ago, and I found that out because Crowder's interview was one of the ads on Pastor Jay Wilson's live stream. I saw Pastor stream days ago when he did it, and I went back to go get that piece that I just played for you, and the Crowder discussion was one of the ads on Pastor's stream. Imagine that. I didn't know that. Same answer about, well, it's not a problem yet. Women are still winning. That's the same thing that dude told Crowder in that interview. I didn't know that.
Get out my face, cause I'm mean and green, and I am bad. Wanna save your skin, boy? You wanna save your hide? You wanna see tomorrow? You better step aside.
Now, something else that Timothy said. Right, this is verbatim. He said, this is a male and this is a female. A male has dick and balls and a woman has a vagina and she has titties, right? Now, we know we can manipulate the titties kind of part, but the vagina part is a whole lot more complicated, right? But if you got all the surgeries, I think this whole argument is about people who have actually had all of the surgeries and are now physically women by law, right? Because they have the parts of a woman, and the woman is saying that you're not a woman because you changed your parts. That's basically what Macy Grace said. Now, how wrong is she? I don't know. That's what he said verbatim. And it even might be kind of creepy of me to take the time to jot down every word he said, so I understand. But why would he say dick and balls and vagina while not knowing how wrong Macy is? Maybe he should have asked, how right is she? I don't know. And why did he add by law? When law doesn't determine if someone is male or female, it never has. I'll tell you what by law means. By law means people's spaces are being breached. He said there are bodies being manipulated. But why describe it as manipulated if these are women? Cherokee didn't need to manipulate nothing to be a female. Now, someone else's video, right, and I might call that one someone else's video. I just might do that. But it'll be in the description box if I can find it. On the comment board, I told them, unless you can talk about a million things at once, then you can't suggest that a person can't talk about one thing at a time. Because that person, just like Timothy did, said, talk about Roe v. Wade. I see a lot of gay people doing that. They'll pull the old, aren't there people starving in Africa routine. And that's where when somebody don't like what you're saying, they'll say, oh, it's children starving in Africa. Why are you not talking about that? We got more important things to worry about. Why are you talking about this? Why you don't go over here and talk about that? Isn't that over there more important? And what about that and that and this and that and that? Timothy pulled that card too. Don't talk about what you're talking about. No, talk about something else. And I'm going to leave this video here, or else I'll be on here a whole nother hour highlighting this lunacy.